Wait for the right setup. I think I am going to identify more carefully next year trades that shouldn't be taken a little more strongly, unless you don't care what happens. I mean, that's the reality. There's trades that shouldn't be taken. Do I put ECB as a trade that shouldn't be taken? Um, I don't necessarily qualify this as a trade that
White
shouldn't be
House economic advisor
taken,
has said on Fed, saying it's
but I
appropriate to lower
qualify
interest
it
rates right
as
now.
not one of the best of the best. Um, Definitely not one of the best of the best. Not a great opportunity. Let me just read to you. I keep a notebook because I'm old fashioned. So we do a lot of stuff when we do our testing, obviously on the computer. But for quick and for referencing during the trade room, I have notebooks on the trade rooms with my notes. And I also show what happened 6 months ago. It's like my journals are DMMs. That's the best way I could explain. What is my personal journal? It's a DMM. And I have, oh my God, when I die, they're going to throw these books away. Somehow I got to get them to someone who cares because they're really valuable if someone's going to keep doing this when I'm gone. Now, I don't really want to trade natural gas today. I don't even want to do the room, but we will. Here's the ECB. Look at the behavior. Three three winners, two good ones. I'll say that, but 2 out of 6. 2 out of 6. 2 out of 6. Francis, if you do the magnets around the big news, so instead of doing a CPI breakout, you do the CPI magnet. It doesn't necessarily have to be um, longer rooms. You just have to pick your battles more carefully. Opens, opens, no problem. Um, we would pick our. I'm not saying we're going to do it. I'm just talking. You know what I mean? Just talking. We have a lot of tools. I kind of like the way we do it, where we try to pick the best tool for the moment. That's my favorite way to do it. Pick the best tool. I love the breakouts, but I hate bad data. You know what I mean. Um, and I'm just talking. I like the way we do it. I do. And Roz, are you still here? I wanted to just tell you something about tomorrow. So I'm going to do extra education for tomorrow. And it's going to be magnet. The rest of the webinar is going to be all magnets. And any questions that anybody has.
Reminded that the
But
ECB
I
tightened
got the
its
new
expectations
version
for the
last
interest rate
night. I didn't
and
even
posters
install
outlined
it yet.
ECB interest rate
So it
prep
may be a
for
deep
FTP
dive
for those
into
who are
the new
interested.
features
In general
tomorrow
expectations,
before we make our
analysts and market
offer.
participants
So tomorrow
forecast
is
the
going to be a
ECB to
great
keep interest
class.
rates
Is she
unchanged at
traveling, Ray?
2.15%
Okay.
and deposit rate
I thought
unchanged
she
at
was going to be here
2%,
today and gone
according to
tomorrow.
investment bank opinions.
So look at the
Markets say that next
ECB.
week's active
October,
central bank
it was an
calendar
hour
will
late
also
because
include
of
the
daylight
ECB's key
savings and all that
inflation
stuff.
policy
No
announcements, though we
move.
expect deposit rates to remain on hold at
September
2%,
11th.
supporting the case for a steady rate and the recent data from Eurozone. Overall, economic growth has held up
And
moderately well,
unfortunately, I don't have
despite
very many
ongoing global
videos
uncertainty.
for the
February GDP
ECB.
grew
I went
0.3%
through a period where I
quarter-on-quarter and 1.4%
screwed up
year-on-year.
a whole bunch of videos.
Morningstar
So
said
there's a
money
few
markets are also
videos
pricing
missing.
in
So
largely unchanged rates
ECB
for next week, but October 2026 implied rates are above the current level.
was a better
The implied
breakout
rates
in
are above the current
September. It
level,
was one of the
a
few
significant shift
times it was
compared with
slightly better
just
as a
over a week ago when
breakout.
swap markets
But it
entered
wasn't
lower rates
gigantic. We
window for
made
next year.
$90, all right?
ECB board member
And
Stephen
then in
told
July,
Bloomberg in an interview on December
it was
8th
a trap
that Eurozone growth
and it was
risks are clearly
canceled,
tilted
no
to the upside
move.
and that
And
risks of
then
inflation are
in
tilted to the
June,
downside.
it was a
She said that
terrible
services
spike,
inflation and wage growth has
but it
been
was a good
stronger than
trap.
anticipated,
See?
and demographic labor
June was a
pressures
good
and rising
trap.
inflation expectations
April
are
was a
emerging
stop,
just as the economy
poor
strengthens and fiscal
breakout,
policy turns expansionary.
and
With the ECB's
it
mandate
just
to
missed
maintain
getting
price
filled as the
stability at
trap.
2%
And
inflation,
then
high
March
inflation could
was
justify
such a
higher
big
rates,
move,
not
it blew up the
cuts,
trap.
according to the economists.
So, there may be a couple of breakouts, but more often than not,
US
this
critics
is
say the
better
ECB will
as
most
a
probably
trap.
keep interest rates unchanged this week,
I would do
amid
the
economic
same
resilience
thing that
and
we
sticky
did
services inflation,
with
while the rate decision
the
will likely be
BOE. All
uncontroversial
right. I would do
and
the same
unanimous.
thing that we did with the
Financial markets
BOE.
will
If you're
carefully
going
monitor
to
changes in rhetoric
trade
that
this,
might reveal a more sanguine assessment of the growth outlook.
I'm trading the trap without hesitation because it's got to move a little more to fill me. And it has a history of decent, medium decent reversals, medium decent. All right. Hang on. So we're going to do our usual thing. We're going to put our reverse continues on. All right. All right. Let's. I never started the video, did I? Let's start the video.
Zelensky says EU accession is part of security guarantees.
Here we go. Welcome everyone to the Pro Trade Room Plus ECB Refi rate, and actually we'll stay in the room for US CPI. My name is Lee Goldstein, the Trading Director for 10-Minute Trades. Please remember, I'm not a financial advisor. All the trades we discuss are for educational purposes. What shows REC? What does that mean? Right. All right, everybody. So we're getting ready to set up our ECB trade. We were saying that this is an inconsistent report. Occasionally it's a breakout. Occasionally um, it's a trap trade. Reactions have been smaller lately, as the DMM says. And oh yeah, that's because supposedly the trade room is supposed to be recording these videos as well. But we've been having an issue where it's not recording. I always record my own, I always did. So I had easy control over studying the events. The main reason I always recorded was to study. But that's okay. I What the problem is if I don't have a recording, I don't make my own, or something happens, because Snagit has the stupidest, what I call a bug. If you do a recording with Snagit and you're using a mic and you turn off the mic before you shut down the recording and save it, it crashes the recording and it doesn't save it and the recording is lost. That is a bug. So snag it, get with it, and fix that. It's never been fixed. If I forget and don't turn my mic off before I save the recording, it should unequivocally not destroy the recording, but it does. And they've never fixed it. That is a bug That almost makes the program not worth using, in all seriousness. All right. Otherwise, Snagit's a very good program. I like it for the money. Other than the fact that now they don't, you can't buy it anymore. It's a lease. But that's life. ECB, we're going to put a reverse continue on. I'm getting ready for a big Christmas rant. Getting ready for a big rant. I haven't ranted in a week. It's been about a week. I haven't done one rant because I promised I wouldn't rant for the holidays, but it's very hard to be quiet. Very, very hard with everything that's going on. Healthcare, peace, war, everything. All right, we are going to put on strategies. News trader. Change the breakout to a reverse continue. Change the breakout to reverse continue. Bear with me, folks. Reverse continue. Decide how many contracts you want and position. So I'm just going to trade one position. The euro. All right, $6 a tick. Let's throw two contracts on there. And I'm only going to do like a 20 tick target. It just doesn't move that much usually on this news. And a 25 tick stop. This is just a discretionary opportunity if it presents itself. That's all this is. Discretionary opportunity. All right. And I'm going to label it reverse 6E continue. It's a reverse continuation. Maybe we'll reverse, maybe we'll continue in the direction of the move. That's all that means. But we do it safely. We have a stop, we have targets, and we have buttons on our charts. And then we're going to trade it in our number 28 account. Okay? It's a prop account. A mediocre prop account right now. Nothing special. We made $93.75 on Great Britain this morning, so we'll try to keep building our money. All right, but I'm going to put my chart on sim for a minute. So I've got my reverse continuation set up. You can enable it in the control panel. I have been very subdued. Um, very subdued. Well, my life would be so much better, but Calvin Coolidge, I mean, he's just ruined my life. Everything that's wrong in the world today, Calvin Coolidge. I mean, that's the way it is. If it wasn't for him, life would be fantastic. He left a mess, and it's just got to be cleaned up. Um, all right, we've got our main trade. So you could trade a breakout on this. You could trade a breakout, but our testing shows the better setup is the trap. Why do we say that? So let's take a look. We have spike sheets. We have, bear with me, an ECB spike sheet. So for folks that don't know what I'm talking about, what's a spike sheet? A spike sheet is we keep track of every spike that this news has done, and we go back as far as we go back on this particular report. So let's take a look at the report. How far did we go back on this one? We go back 2 Januaries. So 2 Januaries. All right.
Zelensky says there's progress in the
And
US
you
with
could
the
see
US
the
on talks for
spikes
peace.
were the spikes average about 25 ticks. That's the average,
This is
about
clear. It says
25
happy to
ticks.
engage with the
We
EU,
go
but it
back,
has
we
not
have
been implemented.
almost 18 months of data on this
We have
report,
sections like
spikes.
301 to
And
deal with
very
EU.
recently, we're seeing more no moves. Okay? There's less
That's
good
according to
moves
CNBC
over the
yesterday.
past 6 reports. Yes, over the past 6. In September, we had a good trap. Would have been a
Trading
great
in
trap.
digital trade.
But you had to use a 25 stop. Had to use a 25 stop. It almost blew the trap. Um, No reversal in March, and that was the month we got blown up. All right,
Greer
it
on
blew
my
up.
digital trade saying we
But
need to deal
every
with this
other,
quickly.
if you look, every other trade is not a great breakout because there's not enough movement. If you have a 12 to 15 tick bracket and it only moved 38 ticks, it's only 16 ticks, 13 sometimes, and you have a couple of ticks of slippage, it's 10 ticks, $60. But then when you look at the reversals, they're not huge. So it's only a mediocre trap at best. And it's a very mediocre breakout. That's the reality. But we do feel the trap is a little bit better. Okay? We feel the trap is a little bit better. So that's what we're going with. If I were going to trade the breakout, I would trade it exactly as the DMM, bracket of 12, target of 10, target of 25 for target 2. I might
Secure
just
overnight high
increase
for
my
risk free
stop to
spots since
25.
9th December
That's the
17th,
only change I might
unchanged
make.
from December 16th.
All right.
Greer floats Section 301 action on EU on my
But
digital trade.
they're not expected to change the rate. I'm expecting not much reaction to this report. That's what I'm expecting. Not much reaction. I'm not trading it that way though. I try not to trade the markets the way I think they're going to react because you know the deal. Whenever we do that, we get screwed up. So I'm going to set up a trap. I have a reverse continuation set up. Right click strategy, click on trap trade. Position 1 is a 1, position 2 is a 1. It's a 8:15 trade. We have to be right ready for CPI. Okay? US CPI is 8:30. So 8:14.55.
US Greer saying we see
I'm
a lot of
triggering
progress
this
in other
trade.
countries' investments in the US.
My stop is 25. Order 1, tier 1, bracket 1 is 18 ticks.
Greer says we
Tier
have plans for
2,
Supreme
order
Court
2,
ruling
bracket
on tariffs
2
goes the other way.
is 30
Tariffs will be a
ticks.
tool regardless of Supreme Court.
Our zone of safety is 55 ticks. If this moves more than 55 ticks, then we are going to get stopped. If it moves 48 ticks and reverses, that's a great trap. We're going to label it trap 6E, trading it in account 28. We're going to stay with that account for most news today. I'm tempted to add a contract because it's only $6. Euro's 6.25, isn't it?
Greer
Six and a
says
quarter a tick.
TNG to meet
Pretty
again
sure it
in
is.
April.
But I'm going to be conservative because the behavior is not that great. It's not a trade that I'm really interested that much in adding contracts. It's just not great enough. All right. Not a good enough performer. So I'm just going to trade one position each contract, one contract each position. In my 28 prop, we're up 93 bucks today. And you can see as a breakout, mediocre at best, and 2 out of 3 recent cancels. Now, I am going to put YM on the
Greer says
right.
China should buy medical
YM
devices and airplanes from the US.
0326. Let's put a reverse continuation on the YM right now. This is getting ready for CPI. Right click, strategy, news trader, change the breakout,
Redfin reports
do a
pending home
reverse
sales fall
continuation.
6%, the biggest drop in nearly a year.
Hang on. I thought I heard something about a news report that was coming out that I wasn't expecting. Okay. Sorry. All right, back to our reverse continue. Couple of contracts, $5 a tick on the YM. Profit target. This is CPI. That could be some serious movement. 50 tick scalp, 40 tick stop. All right. 50 tick scalp, 40 tick stop, 50 target. Labeling it YM. reverse YM, continue. Okay. And I'm putting it on 28. Like I said, I'm sticking with the same account for most news today. So we have a reverse continuation set up for the YM CPI. YM is our CPI recommended trade. That's why I'm putting YM on. Bringing up the DMM, and the reason we're talking about it is because it's the next event and it's only 15 minutes after ECB. And margins are up for cash traders, Francis, and anyone else trading cash. The brokers raise margins for this report. Generally, almost all of them. Okay, CPI. We've got a bracket of 40 on our YM breakout. We're triggering at 829.59. And I'll say this over and over and over. CPI will move probably every instrument, but it's been very inconsistent. We don't know if it's going to be a breakout. We don't know if it's going to be a whipsaw. We don't know if gold's going to be good today and or if it's going to be bad. These are the things you just don't know on CPI. It is unequivocally one of the most inconsistent reports over
Clements
our
Wayne to a
recent
gentleman.
history than
ECB
any
interest rate
other
decision
report,
forecast
any other
little or
one.
no change at
Okay? I'm
2.15% for
just
the
telling you,
yearly interest rate
it's the
deposit rate.
most
Forecast little or
inconsistent
no change
report.
at 2% from
It
Q1
also has a
2022.
tremendous
We also get the
opportunity for
ECB rate
great
statement as well.
movement. So, YM, we have a bracket of 40. Position 1 is a 1, position 2 is a 1, targets of 20 and 40 if you want to be very conservative. Remember, targets are not in stone. So you could do a 20 and an 80. It could move 150 ticks. Um, and you could manage the trade if you get a good move in one direction. Target 1 stop move, I'll do a break even minus 10. Then the stop is 60. That's a big stop for the YM, bigger than normal. That's what we tested to be the safest stop for this event. And then I'm going to label it BRKYM. BRKYM. I'm leaving it on sim for a moment because I'm going to check the bracket management, the width of the bracket. All right. By setting the time to 0, the first two numbers, and then you apply it and okay it. I spread the chart a little bit because most probably it's going to be tight. And then I turn on my breakout YM. As soon as there's price movement, the bracket will generate.
Order submitted.
It has to have price movement because that's otherwise the software can't calculate, right? That's not anything wrong. It's just the way it works. So, so
Order
get
canceled.
get out of here. Go. Go if you're going to bark. You can't stay in here. So I was telling everybody it was hilarious yesterday. I was listening to I was just scrolling on my phone. I wound up with Don Lemon. Don Lemon. He was like what CNN. Never a fan. Never a fan.
Good morning, everyone. Let's go through
I'm
the
not a
details of
fan
the
of
report
any of the legacy
quickly.
media, whether it be
Treasury will
Fox,
advance
which
the
is not
policy
news.
decision
Fox is
for US
propaganda.
CPI later in the day,
If
and
it
we
were up
believe
to
that
me, I
ECB
would
helped shape
absolutely
expectations for the
instantly
pace of
remove Fox's
interest rate cuts
license.
in the months ahead.
Um,
The dollar was a little changed,
and I would
suggesting Powell
consider
expects to
some of
reset
the
the
other
rate 1 month
legacy
ahead of
networks
next year's
removing their licenses
212 billion
and
euros
changing who is allowed to report the
$1.81
news
as it funds a
because
spending
these
spree
companies have
aimed at repairing
lost all
aging
their
infrastructure and modernizing
truthfulness
its
and they're
employees.
not, all they do is
The CPI
propaganda.
year
It's
on year
just as
for
bad as
the
Russia.
30
But
longest
Don
Treasury
Lemon,
and
his
weekly
dogs were
spot
barking. And that
rates
was the only
are firming
interesting
as
thing
low as
about what was going on
$11.50 as 5-year tips.
with his
Big wires
newscast,
are
quote
moving
unquote
obviously
newscast.
within the interest rate decision at
So we
8:29.
checked our
As the
brackets.
ECB
We're going to put
press
the time
conference
back to
starts at 8:45,
8:29:59.
1:30 Trump signs
But
executive
Fox is not
order,
even owned by
and 4:15
Americans.
Trump
So that
takes
would be the
presidency.
first thing. You can't own a news channel if you're not an American citizen. You can't be Australian and own a major news. It's not news, a major entertainment company. Account, we're going to put our 28 back. Breakout YM is the label, and this is for CPI. 829.59 on the trigger, bracket of 40, 20 and 50 on the targets, 60 on the stop, BE minus 10. And I'm going to say this 1,000 times. Anything can move on this report. Anything can move. All right.
Also, a reminder,
I'm not
as the
turning the YM on
market
yet.
closes today, you get FedEx
It's just
adding
not
62,
necessary. It's probably not going to
50.26.
move
At
much on
4:15, you get
the
962.26
ECB.
earnings as
I
well.
don't expect we'll see much of a move on the ECB on the YM, but talking about the kind of moves that we're going to see with CPI, anything can move with CPI. Anything. The euro will move. The YM will move. The RTY will move. Silver will move. All the instruments that our members want to trade are going to move on CPI. How good are they going to move? I don't know. Big. Most of them will probably move pretty big. Did they raise the margins, Francis? Not every broker always does it, but
5 minutes ago now to get the interest rate
most of
trailing
them
for
seem
the
to be
ECB
on
forecast for the Fed
CPI,
rate is for no change at
US
2%.
jobs,
Fed is higher at
FOMC,
2%.
statements.
ECB interest rates forecast is for no change at 2.15%, unchanged from the prior
Those are the
quarter,
big ones.
2.5%. We also
Yeah,
expect
Dorman's a
the
pretty
Fed to remain
straight. They're
conservative.
like AMP. You know what I mean? Dorman, AMP, Ninja. Um, they're the main brokers for this kind of trading. Dorman overseas, I think. I think Dorman is allowed to actually. They're not allowed to add new customers. I think you were saying for Ninja, but I think in some overseas places Ninja doesn't operate, so they use third-party brokers. Now it's very interesting that the euro is heading up, right? But we're coming off the low. We're coming off the low. We did get a great signal to go long, but it wasn't confirmed with volume until here, quite a few minutes later. But it's always fascinating to me how very often the squeeze helps you get in way before the move begins. And in this particular, pretty not super high volume morning, the squeeze had a good signal, to get in. When you're making new lows, right? We're here at the euro. You go back to 7:15 in the morning, and its new low was made at right about 7:20, 7:15, 7:16. It made the new low. But what you want to then look at, you're now looking for a long trade. You're absolutely looking for a long. Your stop is below the low. There was an aftershock reversal squeeze long entry signal on the 1 minute chart at 7:21. But it looks to me it might have been on a red candle. So I would not have taken that signal. I would not have taken it. If you did take it, you would not have been stopped out, but you'd have been in the trade for a good half hour. You might have gotten out with a small profit at 740-ish, 739, 36. But if you were patient, you would have been hanging out. You'd still be in, but you'd be getting out now before the news. Because you don't, unless you want to take the risk, you don't know what the news is going to do. You don't know the direction it's going to drive the euro. So it's totally a coin toss whether it destroys your trade or not. You're in a profitable trade. I would exit under most situations before the news and take my profit. You can always get back in. Now, the one thing, if there is a good move, you can always look for a nice aftershock reversal. And we're going to go over, I think I'm going to save aftershock reversal for tomorrow for the big
1 minute ago now, Luke, with the
the
ECB deposit
big
rate first.
explanation of it with the new software. So I got the new software last night. Like I said, I didn't even load it yet. It was too late. I was asleep. All right. So we're looking to see if our trap trade works. So what does that mean? We're looking for a change in direction on this news. We're waiting for an initial spike that fills us in the opposite direction of the move, and then we're expecting the price to change direction as we take our monster profits.
10 seconds.
Order submitted.
There's our brackets. The news is now out. Should be out. It's out.
No change, no change.
There was
Bitcoin
not even,
unchanged as
it was
expected.
2 ticks,
ECB
4 ticks.
interest rate, no change, no change.
I told you I thought we
Remains
would not get a
unchanged at
fill.
0.15% as expected. From the ECB, they say that they decide to keep rates unchanged.
I'm not dying for a short fill,
New Euro
so
system
I
CPI
might
projections show
cancel
headline
my
inflation
first
at
order.
reacted for 1%
The
in
real truth
2025,
is
1%
this
in
is a
2026 this year,
cancel.
1%
This
in
should
2027,
be
1% in
canceled.
2028.
Why?
ECB says
It didn't
European growth,
react.
excluding food,
It didn't
energy,
react.
staff
We
growth
don't
is
want a
expected
short
to be
fill
2.8%
because
in
look at the
2025,
trend in the,
2.4%
this is a
in
tough one.
2026,
This is a tough one.
2.9% in
The
2027,
trend is a little
3% in
bit
2028.
bearish,
ECB
down
says that inflation has
43.
been revised
But
upwards,
I'm going to
mainly due to
CPI.
staff
I'm going to
morale,
cancel
and
this
now
trade.
expects services
I don't want to
prices
fill.
to decline more.
I don't really want to
We're going to
Order
manage
focus
this
on
canceled.
trade.
as
I'm
we
going to go to
discuss
US
the
CPI.
path of the rate
All right?
decision.
That's what I'm
ECB
doing.
says it's determined to ensure
It
that inflation
may
stabilizes below
just
2%
have
target for
filled
the
us
medium term.
short.
ECB
Okay?
says it will follow data-dependent and
But we have
meeting-by-meeting
a
approach
much more
when determining an
major
appropriate monetary policy
trade
stance.
to
In
trade.
particular,
So I'm
ECB's
going to
rate decisions will be
CPI.
based on assessments of inflation outlook and risks surrounding it in light of incoming economic and financial data, as well as dynamics of underlying inflation and strength. ECB is not
So we
committing
got a
to a
lot of
single rate
news,
cut.
folks.
The ECB
You
raised
got
economic growth
CPI.
forecast for the next 2 years.
You got
ECB
continuing
raised
jobless
interest rates
claims.
on deposit
You
facility
got a
remain
ton of
deposit
news.
facility will remain
Ton of
unchanged.
news. And a website that's not functioning. There it is. Okay. So we have continuing jobless
Japanese 10-year
claims.
yield steady at 2.86% after the ECB rate decision. Again, key headline there: ECB raising economic growth forecast for the
CPI,
next 2
initial
years.
jobless, Philly Fed. Years ago, we used to trade Philly Fed all by itself. It was a 10 o'clock trade in the old days. Then it changed. It really stopped becoming a very meaningful event. It's one of those Fed reports like Richmond. It's better than Richmond. It trades better. So we have a YM setup. All right. We have a YM setup on the right. This might be a good morning for the 3 chart setup, if you know what I mean. We have a YM
The ECB
breakout on the
says that
right.
economic growth is expected to be stronger than in September projections, driven especially by domestic demand. Growth has been revised up to 1.4% in 2025, 1.2% in 2026, 1.4% in 2027, and is expected to remain at 1.4% in 2028.
So I just don't have enough room on my charts today for everything. All right. My left chart is way too wide. Let me shrink it. Let me just make a little more room. I'm going to put gold on the left and put a reverse continue. So look, the ECB did not reverse. Not a good trap. It would have been filled short. Why did I want to get out before that short fill? Because it was bullishly behaving before the trade. It made me uncomfortable that it was going to test the high. All right. We have a YM breakout, getting rid of the euro. Sure, you could trade the euro on this news,
So staff expect service
CPI,
inflation to
but we have a
decline this
YM
quarter.
setup. I'm looking at gold because I know I love watching gold. We have a YM
Traders
breakout.
keep ECB rate bets steady, see 3 base points of hikes in
Here's our
2025
DMM.
stocks.
This trade has seen multiple different approaches tested over the last several years as the markets are very dynamic. We have settled on the YM for now after 6C, 6E, and Q have been tried. All right. Bracket of 40 on the YM, stop of 60. Bracket of 40, stop of 60. Targets of 20 and 40. All right. On gold or on micro gold, if you want to be really careful, MGC 0226. Let's look at a micro gold scenario here. So we have just turning on my YM. We already tested the bracket. So I've got micro gold. I'm going to put a reverse continue. A couple of contracts for micro gold. It's $1 a tick.
10 minutes ago now till the bottom of the
Change the
market. This
breakout
is
to reverse
CPI.
continue.
So reminder, this would be
Couple of
CPI data
contracts for
for
micro
November.
gold.
October
Target,
CPI data will not be
it's
published.
really going to
So
move.
just take a look now.
40
CPI
ticks,
year-on-year was
50 tick
forecast for
stop. Okay?
3.1%,
Bucket tick.
5.8%,
Bucket
with a
tick.
range of 3.2% to
This is
2.8%.
not a
Core CPI
huge,
year-on-year
huge
forecast 3%
risk
unchanged from the prior,
trade.
with a range of 3.2%
Label it
to 2.8%. Month-to-month
MGC
forecast
reverse
0.4%
continue. Okay?
unchanged from the prior, with a
Very
range of
simple. And I'm
0.4%
going to
to
trade this.
0.1%. Core month-to-month
Let's see
forecast
if that
0.3%
small
to
account
2%, with a
number
range of
30 can
0.3%
work,
to
if that
0.1%.
account's working. So
For the
we'll
weekly,
apply
number of jobs
that
claims data
and
forecast
okay it.
is 225k, prior of
I'm
236k, with
thinking
a range
about
of
a magnet
235k to
for micro gold.
297k. Continued jobs claims forecast
Um,
1.922 million, prior 1.838 million, with a
Part of
range
the
of
problem.
1.96
So what's
to
interesting
1.798
is the
million.
PP and the VWAP, they're like brother and sister, or husband and wife,
Also,
not brother and
US
sister.
Fed Business
They're
Sentiment
like husband
forecast
and wife. They're
1.2%,
like
prior
married together there.
-1.7.
They're like tied together. That's going to get tested. 4361 is going to get tested. It's going to get tested. But we're below it. We're below it. We can't use the high of day, low of day to come down to that. We can't use the high of day, low of day to come down to it. We would have to use a mag. And truth be told, I think it's going to test it way before this news comes out. Gold's going to go up to the VWAP, I think, before the news. All right. Why do I say that?
Order submitted.
Because I believe it. So I'm putting a long on. My stop is going to be below the low. If I'm wrong, I'll lose a few dollars. If I'm right, I'll get out of this. I want to get out of this before the CPI news, though. Okay? I want to get out before the CPI news. It's not a perfect setup for a magnet. It's a little bit, it could have been. Actually, I could have used the magnet. Now, the squeeze is in my favor. The issue is it may just be too close to the news for this to be meaningful. And it may have already done its, I mean, I don't think it's already done its move, but the minute I got in, it changed its mind. The second I got in, it changed its mind. Now you could look at volume; it was slightly lower each uh, bar.
Seeing a German
So
30-year
you want to
2
be
base points
smarter.
above
I could be
4.5%,
smarter,
highest
not
since July
enter unless the
25,
volume was equal.
2011.
And I think I'm looking at volume much more than I used to. Would I
Money markets
stay
price
in
in
this
price in advance
trade
of a rate hike by March
before the news comes
2027
out?
from
That
35% to
would
45%
totally
stake.
be just random trading. There's no way to know. It would be a coin toss. You'd either make money or you wouldn't, just on a coin toss. That's all it would be. Yes. So, Nitin, we've got unemployment with it today. Philly Fed. I actually almost prefer a trap. Now, you can't do a trap on CPI. The problem is the moves. One month you have 100 ticks. The next month you have 80 ticks. You didn't get an email, Calvin? I definitely sent it. Would you look in your spam folder? Did anyone else not get an email today? Did people not get an email today? Did I screw up? It's possible. Okay, Ray, good.
5 minutes
I
conjunction, we
didn't.
get the CPI
Calvin,
data
check your spam
for
folder.
November.
See if for some reason
Prior
it started
CPI
going
year on
there.
year, 3.1%, prior 3%. Month to month,
Francis got it. Okay. No, I
forecasted
remember
3%
doing
growth.
it,
The prior core CPI year on year,
but I'm doing
4%.
so
Core
many
CPI
things at
forecasting
once
for the prior
after the
4 months,
webinars
forecasted is for 3% price growth.
that it's very easy to make a mistake. I go into like automated mode. Automated mode. I will exit this trade before the CPI news. I will not. That's not. I'm not that interested in doing a crapshoot. Calvin, that's weird. You're on the list, obviously. You get the email every day. I didn't change like who I sent it from. I'll double check after the news. So I'm gonna probably have to take a loss on this trade because I do have to exit. I mean, it could blow the account up in all seriousness, but I'm almost tempted to just leave it on and see what happens just for the fun of it. What I would do is put my target way up there and I'd leave my stop where it is. If it stops, it stops. I get a little bigger on the low side. I'm going to stay in just for the hell of it. Let's see what happens. Do a YOLO. So, Calvin, I definitely sent it. Proof is in the receiving. Proof is in the receiving. Why didn't you get it? That's what's weird. But just always check the lobby. Always check the trade lobby. That's always updated, has the updated schedule. The trade room lobby. All right, so we've got a YM breakout. We've got a YM breakout. Um, CPI. Um, I don't think that we can believe any of the news these days. I think whatever it says, but it doesn't matter. The market's going to react whether the news is fake or real. That's the thing about for us. If one particular government wants to manipulate data, like if the BOE wants to manipulate their data, it doesn't matter to us whether the data is real or fake. The only thing that matters is the news offset. What's the difference between what's being forecast and what the news actually is? That's all that matters, right? That's all that matters. So I put a trade on before the news for test of the VWAP, and it really just dropped a little bit, consolidating now. I decided I'm going to just do a random
And when you're gonna have
50-50
released the
trade,
CPI
let
year-on-year
it
first.
stay on. Um, the problem is gold is bearish. I don't think there's a problem. We don't know what the news is going to be. We don't know. Roz, what I was saying is that we're going to have a lot of good education Friday also, and our offer, and our offer. Anyway, there will be a recording. All right, let's see if I'm a dope. YM is the main trade on the right
10
chart.
seconds.
That's our main trade. Or that's our official
Order
trade.
submitted. Order canceled.
Oh,
Two spot
that
seven
can't
cent.
be
2 spot
possible.
7%, lower than the forecast of 3.1%. It's core CPI year-on-year 2.6%,
So
2.6%, lower than forecast
gold
of 3%. US
trying to
Fed
get
business
taken
growth
out
Order
here.
forecast
filled.
So
10.2%,
gold has a
10.2%.
pretty big
Forecast of
winner. All
10.25.
right,
Downstream
gold
risk
has a
on
pretty big
dollar
winner.
growth off the back
So
of
we
strong
got back
defensive CPI year-on-year and core
half of
CPI.
our
Initial jobs
money
claims
from this morning,
224k
and
and 24k, lower than the forecast
the
of
YM
225k.
was
It's again has
a
ECB
mess.
weakness, SP 500
It
strength.
looks like an unbelievable mess of a bad data fill. That's what it looks like to me, a bad data fill. That order is not real. All right, that order is not real. So I'm going to just reboot my platform quickly for a minute.
So
But
US
the
November
YM
CPI rises 0.20%
CPI
over 2
is
months.
up. Wait, CPI year over year. They're saying CPI looks down, not up. It's not nobody. It's not even remotely possible that the CPI can be lower. It's not in real life. If you're living in
2
this
months
world,
instead.
it's not even
So again,
remotely
looking at US
possible
November
that
CPI rises
prices can be lower. It's an
0.20% over 2
impossibility.
months. US November core
There's
CPI
not a
rises
single thing except
0.159%
oil
over 2
and
months. Again,
gasoline
US November core
that's
CPI
less
rises
expensive, right?
0.159% over 2 months.
I got killed on the YM, just absolutely killed on a bad data fill. Bad data fill. No doubt about it. It was a super fast burst to the upside. Super fast burst to the upside. But what did we say? I mean, very honestly, what did we say before the news? It's the most inconsistent report for years. For years. That's the way this report behaves. It doesn't give good reactions. Now, of course, the YM was the worst because the testing was the best. The NQ, much better looking candle. Much better looking candle on the NQ. Interestingly, the gold
US Fed Fund futures raise odds of January rate
staying
cut
in on
to
gold made money.
48.8% from
Staying in on gold
26.8%
made
lower
money.
than the November CPI.
But CPI has not been a safe trade for many instruments. But sometimes you get a breakout that works with a ton of instruments, right? What I would be interested in, but I don't think I can trade in the account right now, is a reverse continue. There's going to be a signal.
For also did see initial jobless claims data
reverse
in September,
continue
revised
on the
up at
NQ. But I
233
don't
from
think I can
246K.
trade that
Continued
account
jobless
today.
claims came in at
Now,
1.897 million.
now
The lowest in the
RTY
past,
had the better move.
1.901 million. Prior revised
Had a
standard
better
was
move.
1.830 million.
It had a perfect
Fed
move.
swaps priced
It had a
62 basis
perfect
points of
move.
additional policy easing by the
So
end of
it's
2026.
frustrating. You know, I know everybody has different testing also. You could take two people with testing. Our testing goes back years. It goes back to February. Our main testing goes
We
back
have
to
posted the
February.
CPI report for November 2025 on the feed for you to read through. Then I said for the
But
monthly figure they combined
gold
December
actually
and
looked like
September.
it had a good move, and the RTY looks like it had a very good move. And the YM, you have to look at, let's just look at a few more instruments. The Euro. Euro had a pretty good, just looking at a 1 minute chart, looks like it had a pretty decent move. How did silver do? Silver looks like it had a pretty good move. Silver looks like it had a very good move.
Dollar
YM,
yen down by
ironically, was the
0.06%.
worst,
The euro up about
the only
0.04%.
horrible instrument.
Sterling up
The
about
only horrible
0.34%.
instrument. How dumb do we
Again, further
feel
data. Seeing the Russell 2000
that the
increased
instrument
by
we
1%.
chose was the worst? I mean, how often does that happen? How often does that happen? Honestly, not that often. Occasionally. Occasionally. But it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating.
We
So
have the ECB press
frustrating.
conference at 8:45 now. We'll continue the
MNQ
video on the
had a
YouTube.
good move, right? Looking at MNQ, 0326 had a pretty good looking move. So we just got unlucky with the YM. Let's look and see what happened. You have to do it. It's all wick. It's all wick. So the fill was probably at the top of the candle, right? The fill was probably at the top of the candle. It was the top of the candle, the top, the final tick before it reversed.
We have posted the
That's
video on the feed for you
where
to
the
watch with
YM
ECB's President
got
Lagarde,
filled.
due to speak in about 9 minutes now
That's
for the
so
ECB
insane
press conference.
and so ridiculous and so absurd, right? That you get filled. It's such a bad fill at the
US
top of the
Treasury
candle.
provides 62 base points of easing next year after CPI data.
The size of the move, 153 ticks. 153 ticks. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Not one person got a good fill on the YM. What does that tell you? That there was no liquidity. No liquidity on the YM. No
Order submitted.
liquidity. So account 28 is done. Now, gold. Gold looks like it's going to do the magnet to the high side. It does look, but it is negative. It's still negative $8. So there's no guarantee you're going to get that. You're going to get that cooperation. You could, but it is negative on the day still. Okay, it's still negative on the day. It could cooperate. It's possible. It's on micro gold. So if you turn the magnet on, My entry would be above or right about the 6 p.m. open. I do not expect a short entry. There was a very random long signal. I think it's possible you could get a test of that high. You're going against a little bit of the daily trend. You are going against a little bit of the daily trend. But just bad luck on the YM. Maybe we missed something in our testing. Very honestly, maybe we missed something in our testing. We're not perfect. We're not perfect. We have not done a lot of our TY on CPI, and we definitely, I think we made a mistake. It happens. Gold is interesting. Now, it is interesting. I think it's going to get there. I think it's going to get. Do you want to trade it? Are you interested in trying? You could bring your order down and turn the magnet on auto. And if it actually, I would make it go above the wick, above the news spike. If it gets above that news spike, I'll take that gold long for a test of the high. Micro gold. All right. Now the YM
5 minutes ago, typically the
filled us
ECB price conference
top,
itself, and the video is on the
tippy
screen.
top of the candle. Tippy top of the candle. We'd all be smiling and laughing if we had chosen the RTY. Nitin, you should run the trade room. He called it. Watching to see. We're going to get a fill. We are going to get a fill. Right here.
Order
There's our
submitted.
fill. So we're looking for a test of the high. A little bit before. All right. It is micros.
Goldman Sachs expects the Bank of England to deliver
Where
25
should
basis
the
point
stop
interest rate
really
hikes
be?
in
If you
next week
really,
in March,
really
June, and September
want to trade
2026
this
versus a prior forecast of
with the
cuts
best
in
stop,
February,
it
April,
should be
and July.
below the PP.
So again, they expect BOE
The
to
best
deliver
place for the
25 basis point
stop
rate cuts
should be
each in
around here.
March,
That's
June,
a
and
little
September
big though. You could
versus prior
do
forecast of cuts in
below
February, April, and July.
as the candles were moving up. I do prefer the stop below the VWAP though. I really do.
S&P 500 futures also continue to rise up 0.8% now. Again, off the back of the weaker than expected CPI data.
See if gold wants to push up. Keep pushing up. It might not. There's no guarantee it's going to work. The YM is still pushing up. It's going to break the high. So I was going to look at a deep dive on the YM before we go. Our next event is natural gas. Oh no, we have the market opens. What am I thinking? We got to do oil. We have to do oil. I'm half asleep here. We have oil. I forgot all about the market opens. So let's do our market opens. We got to get ready for oil. Why didn't somebody say something? Quick dive on the YM. Well, no, there's no point. We know we got filled at the top of the candle. It didn't work. Top of the candle fill. It's just the worst fill you can get. There's no worse fill. And that ended my profit count. That evaluation account
The shares
got
of
blown
storage chip makers
on that.
gain pre-market after Micron Technology's upbeat profit
All right,
forecast.
oil. I kind of want out of this gold trade because I'd rather concentrate on the oil stuff. It is not working either. and it just gave a sell signal, which is pretty annoying. So I'm going to bite my bullet, put a time, shrink my stop. If it breaks that candle, I'm getting out. If it decides to go up and test the high, I'll let it do it. So let's put oil, CL on the right chart, 0226. Oil. So Chantal, put in your notes, CPI, we missed the boat and didn't do enough testing on RTY. All right, oil. What's oil doing today? It's $56. Oil on the daily chart is really poor, right? Oil's been really selling off, really selling off. It's very bearish on the daily chart, right? Maybe the last 2 days it's trying to make a little bit of a comeback. If we look at the 30-minute chart for today, I would not say that oil is bullish today, right? It's bearish again, bearish again. Is it changing? I mean, for the past 2 hours or so, it's made a push up for the past 2 hours. Would you call oil bullish? Looking at a 5-minute chart, it's bullish on a 5-minute chart, stint 7 o'clock. It did give a
There should be 13
phenomenal,
comments now for questions
phenomenal
from ECB's governor,
aftershock
ECB's
reversal squeeze
President Lagarde.
signal. And
So
I
the
will
video is
say
on
this,
YouTube to watch.
5-minute charts are fantastic for squeezes. Fantastic. Really good. And then if we look just back at our normal minute chart, oil's right at the VWAP right now. It could go any direction. We all know that. It looks like it could go any direction this morning. There's room on the downside and there's room on the upside. And essentially, we let this trade. All right. I'm going to keep my gold stop below the VWAP temporarily. Since I'm still in that trade, I'm going to put my stop where I want it, not to get out fast. If I need the chart, I'll make a new chart for the open. So oil open, we're going to put a reverse
Eurodollar
continue on the
1 week
chart.
volatility hits 4.47%, the lowest since July 2024.
Click News Trader, reverse continue. One position, 20 tick target, 25 tick stop.
Press conference has begun now.
Reverse continue, label it, reverse CL, continue. And I'm trading that in my funded, oil open, and other occasional
Lagarde
good
repeats ECB
setups
policy statement.
account. So this account is slowly growing still. We did have one stop on oil for the first time in ages. We did have a stop this week on oil. So reverse continue, one position, 20 target, 25 stop. In the funded account, if we take a discretionary trade, and then we have our range trade, our main range trade for oil. Right click, click strategies, click news trader, change it to a range trade. I'm going to load my template, go down to template, load. I'm going to find oil new open range. Pretty sure that's the name. Oil new open range. I'm going to right click and date it today, the 18th. Load it. And it's a range trade. The trade type is a range trade. Range end 90040. Now, some people say, oh, you guys are so dumb. Why is range end at the top? It's because that's activation. More often than not, we're activating a trade. We're not ending a range. So it just so happens the range end is up top because activation. They share the same field, the same input. So just remember, it's range end, not range start. 90040, one position for position one contract for position two, target of 8, target of 20, stop is 15. If my first target gets hit, target 1 stop move, BE minus
S&P
4. It will go to
500 E-mini
break
futures
even
up
minus
0.8%.
4.
Nasdaq 100 futures up 1.4%.
If you
Dow
want to.
futures up 0.5%.
That's trade management. It's not required. Okay? It's optional. Well, look, everything is optional. You decide if you want to do what we're doing or not. Then we have the range start time, 8:59. One tick above the range, one tick below the range. Show the range graphics on
ECB's
chart.
President Lagarde says economy is resilient.
And our gold trade's trying to push to the high. Trying to push to the high. And our oil trade is going on the funded oil open account. Funded oil open account. Oil range. It's going to get labeled CL range. You could call it CL open, whatever you want to call it. Just call it something different than your reverse continuation. And I'm turning them both on.
Lagarde adds that service-led growth to continue in the near term.
All right. Turning them both on. So we've got our range trade. We've got a reverse continue. We missed our high of day test on gold by one tick. One tick. One tick. Is it done now? We've got momentum against us.
Lagarde
Momentum is
says
against
domestic
us.
demand a main growth engine in years ahead.
But I waited this long. Now I'm going to
The
wait
savings rate should come down.
and see if it goes and tests the high. I think it'll at least hit our target.
Order filled.
Hit our target, so we're slowly trying to get back to flat on that newish evaluation account.
Lagarde says government
So
expenditure on
we
infrastructure
have
and defense
oil.
should underpin
I'm going to
investment.
change my charts. Let's just leave it where it is. I'm going to redo my oil chart on the left just because I like it set up the way I do it every morning.
Lagarde
All
adds that
right.
global environment
So I'm
is
just
likely
putting
to
my
remain
trades
a
on
drag.
the left. Oil, CL, O2, 26. All right. So I've got a reverse continue. I'm going to put that on real quick.
Lagarde says challenging
Remove my
trade
strat, my
environment will be a drag
magnet.
on growth.
News trader, reverse continue. One position, one target, 20 tick target, 25 stop. Label the trade, right? Put it on the right account, number 55 funded, label it reverse CL continue. So our reverse continue is now on the chart and I'm going to apply it. All right.
Money
And I'm going to
markets
get
price
rid
in
of
over 50% chance of a
my
rate cut
other
in March
setups because I'm going to
2027
change that
and
chart to the
35% of the
YM.
ECB rate
Now I'm
stabilized.
going to put my range trade up on oil, strategy, news trader, change it to range, but I'm going to load my template, save a little time. Template, load, open, oil new, oil open new range. I think it was open. No, oil open new. Oil open new range. Oil new open range. It's already dated. Double click it and load it. It's a range trade. The range ends at
Lagarde says
90040.
underlying inflation
Position
remains
1 is a 1.
consistent with
Position
2%
2 is a 1.
medium-term target.
Target 1 is an 8. Target 2 is a 20. Stop loss is 15. Target 1 stop move is BE minus 4 for me, but you could do BE minus 8, BE minus 10, BE. All right. And end the range, start the range, 859, under range trade, start 859. Ticks above the range, 1. Ticks below the range, 1. Show the range graphics on chart. That draws the range so you see it, apply it, okay it, turn it on, put it on the right account, back to strategies, highlight the range trade, make sure you put it on the
Lagarde
account
says
you want to
all
trade
leading
it on.
indicators suggest wage growth to ease.
Funded, apply, okay.
So she says wage growth
Enable the
to
trade by turning
ease
it
in the coming
on.
quarters before stabilizing below 3% towards the end of
So
2026.
everything is running now, all right? 2 oil trades, 1 range, 1 possible reverse continue. Changing my chart in the middle to YM 0326, our nemesis, the YM today, and looking at a YM open in a few minutes. Right now, nothing's jumping out at me except a VWAP magnet, a test of 48,301, and or the low. You could set it up real easy, real quick. Super easy way to set up a magnet test of a level in the current version of the
Lagarde,
software. Current version, you
Lagarde says
cannot
most measures
easily,
of long-term
no,
inflation
I
are
shouldn't say
exceeding
easily,
expectations
you
and will
have to
continue to
use
stand
a
at around 2%
custom
this year.
level to target the VWAP. In the new version of the software, um, there's an automatic
Lagarde
target
says trade
of the
tensions have
VWAP.
eased.
It's easier because the VWAP's one of our custom levels in the new version.
Lagarde
So, but
says
let's
trade
say you have
tensions
the
have
current
eased, but
version and we
oil
want to
target
test the
revival remains a
VWAP
risk.
on the
The
market
senior
open.
German
I like
10-year yield
that.
rising 3 basis
Actually
points
set
to
up. I like it.
2.9%, the highest since
So go to
March.
strategies, turn on the magnet, choose the magnet, leave it on high of day, low of day. All right? Because that's what we're going to do. Leave it on high of day, low of day. I'd actually like to load the old version of the software. That's what I'm going to do. Watch how fast. So here comes the old version. I'm going to load. Oh, sure. I can't. Sorry. If I load it, I have to restart the platform. We'll
Lagarde
miss
says
the
outlook
oil
for
trade.
inflation
Can't do it.
continues to be more
All right, make believe I
uncertain
have
than
the
usual.
old version. Right click the chart, click strategy, double click magnet 2.0. Leave it high of day, low of day. Leave the proximity at, make it 5 for now. And we're going to trade just one position for the VWAP. All right, we'll make our stop 35. One position VWAP. And I'll show you how you do it with the high of day, low of day setup.
Lagarde says stronger euro could
And I'm
bring
going to
down
do it
inflation.
in a regular account. I'm not that worried about the label, but we're running out of time for oil, so I don't want to just miss paying attention to oil. So YM magnet, but I'll take this trade anytime it wants to trigger. I will take this anytime it wants to trigger. So I've just set up a simple high of day, low of day magnet. Position 1, default target is 3 ticks before it gets to the low of day or the 3 ticks before it gets to the high of day. That's the default setup. All right? It's just the way it is. Apply it, okay it, turn on your magnet, make sure you're on the right chart that you want to be on. Now, I'm almost even interested in letting it fill to the high side again. All right. If it wants to go long, I would let it. If it wants to go short, right now it's going short for a test of the low. I want a test of the VWAP. So just move your order, move your entry above the VWAP. You got some nice levels here that if they break, there's a possibility it'll go down and test the VWAP. 302, that's a 40. If you look at the sell, it's 339 is our sell. And our target is 305. Target's 305. I don't think that's 339, but we're working on the box. It is. Okay, it is 339. Okay. I'm okay
Indicative
with
funds
that
rate
sell
unchanged at
to get to
3.64% December 17th.
the VWAP. It's not a giant trade. Do I want to take the long? Our oil range is starting to draw. Just spreading the chart a little bit. I'm not dying for a long trade right now. Right now. But I think it will work. That's the thing that's got me hesitating. I really was thinking the VWAP is a more interesting trade as we get closer to the open. Okay? It's not right now
Regardless,
that I'm
Euro-area
dying to
banks are
trade
resilient.
this. I know I said the oil open pushed very heavily down. Heavily, 10 ticks, not even. But this morning I almost wanted to be short right at the open. You can always do range trade now, and it puts your orders on the chart before the calculation of the bracket is done, according to our setup. I think we're going to get a test of the low on oil. So we're going to get a fill
Order
now,
submitted.
probably. And I'd like to see a test of the
Order
low.
submitted.
That's what I'd like to see. That's where our second target is, right above it. Our stop is right above the range. It's in a good spot. Maybe I'd move it
Lagarde
up
says
one
possible
tick.
market repricing is a financial stability risk.
I think we'll get a test of the low. I hate life. I hate my life. I truly do. Trading is the hardest job. If there is an easy job, easier, if there's a harder job than trading, I am going to move my stop one more tick above the range just because, oh, two. I don't want to get filled right at the top of the range on the stop. No, I'm very, very upset about CPI. Very upset. We didn't test properly on that one. We left the RTY. Really, we didn't have enough testing on the RTY. Now, the fact that oil is changing direction like a banshee is crazy. It's just, it's ridiculous. We're in holiday trading. I hate to say it, but this looks not good. That would be two stops this week if it stops. How do you prevent that? How do you prevent that? You don't. I don't know that there's a way. Even out trying to outthink the market this morning. I don't know how you could have even tried to outthink it. It was bearish before the
Lagarde says
news,
ECB is in a good
before the
place.
open. It opened bearish. And you do have to think about your stop.
Lagarde adds that good place
Um,
doesn't mean that we are
it's
static.
too much risk, but I'd rather have my stop above the VWAP. That's being honest. But that's like a lot of risk. Do you want to take that risk? It's not going to blow up the account, but if it doesn't work this morning, it's going to
Lagarde
hurt.
says there is
It
no
would
set
hurt.
date for any move.
But in my humble opinion, the stop, it should be above the PP because those are areas that price gets pulled to. I don't want to take that much
Lagarde
risk,
says ECB was
to be
unanimous
honest.
that all options for rates stay on the table.
I'm tempted, though, to go a little bit higher on the stop if it'll allow me to survive. I'm willing to take a little more risk to see if we get a change in direction here. I moved it a couple of ticks. We're right at the top of the range. It just looks like it's relentless. I think it's relentless for whatever reason. You look at the squeeze, but the volume is low. The volume's low. It's the lowest. It's the lowest. I'm going above the VWAP, folks. I'm going
Lagarde
above the
says
VWAP.
investment has been a driver for the economy.
I'm going above the VWAP. Now, do I want to be filled on the YM long before the news? It's pretty bullish. I'll let that fill. I'd rather get a test of the VWAP on the downside. I'd rather have a test of the VWAP on the downside. But I think if it keeps heading up, it's going to go test the high again. It's not a great magnet. Why is it not a great magnet? Tell you what I'm going to do. Turning it off, and I'm moving my order. I'm leaving my order where it is. It's not going to trade up. I don't really want to go long right now on the YM. I want to wait for the open and get my test of that VWAP. I think that that is a
Lagarde
better
says it's too early to say if the AA impact
probability
is
working.
long-lasting.
All right, it's a better probability. And it looks like no matter what I do, oil is hopeless. Looks like it's going to be hopeless.
Lagarde adds that exports surprised us.
I don't know. Do you change direction? Do you just give up the ghost? Maybe the bad decision, in all honesty,
Lagarde says exports
is
have proven
not
substantial.
listening to the signal. This is a very strong signal that took place at 9:02. And that was a signal that really told us to exit the oil trade and go long. That's the honest truth. Yep. I should have honestly just taken the loss, taken the loss. And there was a tremendous signal. There really was a tremendous signal. That's the truth. Tremendous. Even if it works now, I'm not saying it was smart trading. Even if it should reverse here, I'm not saying it's smart trading. It's so difficult. It's not easy to putting on the crosshair for a moment. It's not easy. You have a signal here to go long. So you exit your trade with a loss and then go long. That's not, it's psychologically very difficult to do. And you have to have a setup that allows you to do it also. Now, the reverse continue would allow you to get in on the opposite side pretty safely. But it's still just not
Cable
easy
1 month
to do.
volatility hits 5.28%, low
It's
since
not easy to do.
2014.
Now, the
Voice noise
YM,
disconnected.
I
He
still
may
think
have
the
worsened.
interesting trade is a test of the VWAP. I do think that's an interesting trade. It's got more profit potential than the high of day unless it bursts through the high. You know, you could get a great burst.
Adding that
Probably should
uncertainty
trade
hasn't
it
changed much.
with two contracts. Should probably update the magnet, right? Update it. Update it. I'm thinking, what am I thinking about? Thinking of if it goes through the high, add a second contract to take advantage of it going through the high.
The guard says there is some
Or you
change in
could
the
just
economy.
trade that one contract, set up and turn on the magnet auto. Press the button to turn it auto, right? And it will, if it goes long, if it breaks the order level,
The
it will
guard
go
says all
long.
options are on the table. We'll look particularly attentive to salaries.
Now, that was a situation where when you got the signal to go short on oil again, 908, 909, 910-ish, big
The guard
momentum
says given
change,
the degree of
should have added a
uncertainty, we can't
contract,
give guidance.
right? That would have been a smart move. That would have been a smart move. Add a contract, combine the orders. It may test the low, but I don't know that I want to wait around. It might. It still should test the low. It was a pretty bearish open. Now, do you want to let the YM take you in long? That's the question. I kind of, I think it's going to test the high again. That's the question. Will it test the high again? It's not exactly moving with great volume and conviction. So you could not do it. Move your order leave the order alone and just trade the test of the VWAP. There's no harm in just trading the test of the VWAP.
The guard says there was no discussion today on hikes or cuts.
Now, if you're trading the test of the VWAP the way I'm doing it, you have to remember your target's going to be down by the low because originally it's a high of day, low of day test. So your target's going to be right by the low. So don't forget that. If you get your fill down in here, right? If you get your fill, bring up your target. You can leave your target if you think it's going to go way further than the VWAP. It may not even get there because the YM is bullish. It may just keep going up. Now it would have filled our magnet. It's touching the level, right? So it probably would have filled right there. But I made the decision. I'm going to take the shot. There's the sign that it's a trade if you want it. You can still get in. But I made the decision to test the VWAP. It's probably, can I make, how many bad decisions can I make in one day? A lot. You can make a lot. So it's going to test the high without me. That's all right. The YM does do a lot of up and down on the open, so I'll still take that VWAP test as my magnet. I'm going to shrink the size of my oil chart. We don't need a lot of room to watch it. Okay. And I want to get my MNQ open chart ready because we're getting closer to the open. So I'll leave my YM to the right. I'll bring in a new chart. NQ, MNQ. So here's my MNQ. We'll get that set up for the open. Now you notice the YM did not exactly burst through. Did not exactly burst through to the high. One of the things against bursting through is volume is myopic. Volume is myopic. It already made the high,
Lagarde says
and
we
it
don't
already
target
almost
exchange rate.
tested it again. Magnets, we like the best when it's a first test. That's our favorite. Hasn't made a new high or low in a nice period of time. That's when I like magnets the most. When it's just recently made a new high, I'm not as interested. Definitely not as interested. Now, did I miss my opportunity to get out of oil? Right now, it looks like it. It sure looks like it. I had an opportunity to get out. I didn't
White
take it.
House's Hassett says core inflation is only 1.6%.
Yeah, core inflation is 1.6%.
So
The
not clear where he's speaking at the
Hassett
moment.
is saying
Just ECB's President
he's
Lagarde
on
says the
mushrooms. That
situation of
guy's on
Chinese
mushrooms.
currency is one we pay attention
Inflation's
to.
1.6%.
We look
The guy's
carefully at the
on
appreciation of the
mushrooms.
euro. Hassett says we've got
Unbelievable. You
high
ever
growth
see
and
that
core
guy?
inflation is
He
about
looks like
where
he's
we
on
should
mushrooms.
be.
Anyway,
Currently speaking on Fox Business.
he doesn't know what he's talking about. There's not name something besides the price of gasoline that's cheaper. Just name it. That's all you got to do. Just name it. Insurance, no. Food, no. Uh, everything you can think of. Utility bills, no. Uh, anything you would buy, any item. It's expensive to shop in a thrift store. All right, MNQ. They're dreaming. They're just lying. They're just liars. They never stop.
Hassett says CPI report is astonishingly
They
good.
never stop lying. MNQ 0326.
Lagarde says services inflation is clearly one domain we'll be attentive to.
Putting on our reverse continue on the MNQ. Couple of contracts. 50 target.
Lagarde says rise in services inflation is
75
related
on
to
the
wages.
stop. 75 on the stop.
Market's now pricing 40%
Haircut.
chance
Is
of
it
ECB
cheaper to
rate
get a
hike by
haircut?
March 2027,
No.
down from a high
My
of
barber
50%
raised their
right
price
after
like
the ECB rate statement.
33% for haircuts. 33%. Didn't tell anyone, just all of a sudden you go in and it was 33% more. No joke. Market open account for the MNQ reverse continue. What else? Uh, dollar store. It's not a dollar anymore. Everything's up. And in fact, Dollar Tree is now, it's Family Dollar now. You know, it's not Dollar Tree anymore. Nothing's a dollar. Now things are $1.50. Couple, things are still a dollar, but not everything anymore. They couldn't keep the
Hassett says
prices the
we'll
same.
see a big refund cycle.
And they're raising them more and more.
Lagarde, he's from the
And now
ECB,
the
says
stores have
services
the
is balanced out
phony
by goods.
price, electronic pricing, so that they can raise the price instantly on you. And oil's going
Order
to take me
filled.
out, you filthy animal. Filthy, lousy oil animal. My own fault. Signals were there.
Hassett says
Signals were
people are
there.
going to get big tax
Obviously,
refunds next year.
obviously, could have
Hassett says I
could
will
have
urge
gotten
people
out
to
with
file
less
early,
pain.
next
Definitely
year.
could have gotten out with less pain. So let me just go to my normal chart setup. I don't need that chart anymore. Not a great morning, folks. Sorry about it. Let me close my oil for now. I don't want to have too many charts running in the background. So MNQ is on the left.
Hassett says
So
we're
I
having
could have
big
made some
meetings on
better
housing tomorrow.
decisions. I mean, that's clear, but um, there were plenty of strong signals to get out of oil. But then look, it does that sell off, and you think, oh, okay, maybe it's going to go
Like guys,
test the
there's been
low.
debated
Still, you
wages
think,
quite
oh,
a
it's
bit.
going to go test the low, and it doesn't. So it didn't. YM. So YM did not test that high still. All right. This order I want out of the way. I want to redo this magnet. Let me think for a second.
So Hassett says that we expect big announcement on housing reform. So we have a meeting on housing on Friday.
All right. MNQ. We'll reset up. I just want to close. I have too many charts open, I think. I don't need all these charts open. I don't have that many. All right. That one can go. All right. MNQ. Right click. Going to reset it up. News
Hassett
trader.
says there are a lot of things we can do
Reverse
through regulation.
continue. Couple of contracts. 50 target. 75 stop.
Adding, we can reward states that make it easier for people to build a new home.
Trading on the MNQ market open account. All right. That's a funded account. Going to label it MNQ reverse continue. Apply it and OK it. Turn it on. Then right click, click strategy, news trader, breakout stays. Going to load my template for the MNQ open. Load.
Hassett says there's lots of room for Fed to cut rates.
Find the template, MNQ. MNQ new open is what I'm looking for. Here it is. MNQ new open. It's dated yesterday. We're going to right click and date it today. Going to load it. And our bracket, 929.59 is our breakout. 929.59. Bracket is 40. Targets of 30 and 70. 125 on the stop, and I go to break even if it hits my first target. I'm going to do a BE minus, well, I'm just leaving it at break even for now. It's already labeled bracket MNQ open, BRK MNQ open. Time to zero to look at the bracket, the width of the bracket. Apply it and OK it. We just made a new high.
Order submitted.
Okay. Not loving. I don't love buying at the high.
Hassett concludes remarks on Fox
But it is a
Business.
market open. So we know how the market open works. It can easily go through the high. So our bracket is manageable. I wanted to see if the bracket's manageable
Order
also.
canceled.
I'm going to remove the line, highlight the breakout trade, show vertical line on
ECB's personal
entry,
guard is an
removing that
important
line.
moment for the digital
Apply,
euro.
okay. Test the bracket again, and now you get
Order submitted.
no line. But you still know exactly where the current price was, okay, when you put your orders on the chart. Breakout, turning it off for a minute.
Order
Going to
canceled.
reset our time back to 0. Breakout. 9:29. 59, and we're going to go back and make sure we're on the right account, not sim, because we're not testing anymore. Account number 54,
The
apply
guy
it.
says digital
Okay.
euro is now a
Put
matter for the
chart
council
trader
and
on the
parliament.
correct account for trading. Turn it on. All right, now I'm going to automate my magnet. Interesting, folks, the YM did not get to the high. It was not much profit in that trade. Definitely made the right decision not taking it. There was no volume, nothing really, no motivation. So now, look, if on the open we get a test down to the VWAP, which is not even a commitment in direction in any way, shape, or form, it just could be opening movement. You know what I'm saying? So I like that as a magnet. I like it. Now, I don't want to be trading it in my funded. I want to make sure I'm in the right account. Let me fix the account. Um, yeah, I think it can trade in number 30. That should work. All right, let's see if we could get that count back to flat. And my goodness, do we really have to stick around for natural gas? We do. So we have natural gas after this. 10 o'clock. So depending when we get done here, we might do a short break. I'll put a gun in my mouth and end it. I'm aggravated. Two aggravations this morning. CPI and oil. CPI and oil. All right. All right. All right. Not a great day. 4 minutes to go. We should see some we should see some movement. Now the YM will probably go to the high because you get that 5 minutes of movement, 5 minutes of movement before the market opens. I don't. This order should be dead because it already got to the high. This will not be an issue in the new program. The order is going to go away. It's something we're fixing or have fixed, hopefully. So, who do you think actually is responsible for making up the CPI numbers? I mean, they have to have all these reports, right? What prices are they looking at? What are they looking at that tells them that consumer prices are down? Somebody tell me one thing that they buy that the price is down. Just one. Not counting gasoline's the only one that I can think of. Name one. Rent is up. Buying a house is through the roof. Most people can't even dream of buying a house anymore. Uh, More and more people are living in their backyard, their parents' backyard shed. What else? Name one thing. Somebody. We're streaming online, and I don't see anybody typing anything. I'm thinking, I'm racking my brain. Starbucks. There you go. No, Starbucks is like $8, $7.45 for a pumpkin spice latte. venti, 7.45. 7.45 for a pumpkin spice latte. $7.45. So that's not down. Um, Dunkin', the company that owns Dunkin' and every other coffee company, just announced tariffs causing a 20% rise in coffee prices. Just saw that yesterday. That's being announced. So coffee's not going down in price. Yep. 17 now, TJ. They're talking 20% above where it is now. Not this is new. This is a new increase, not a current
1
increase.
minute ago now to read the market on open imbalance data.
What else? Anyone? Give me one thing that's going down in price. These numbers are fake. They're
Lagarde says
completely
that we
fake,
won't
the
agonize
CPI
over
report.
neutral
It's a
rate.
fake. It cannot be real. But I'll tell you what, we're going to look. Instead of ranting, we're going to look. So let's wait. Let's see what happens on the open. And I'm going to stick around until 10 o'clock for natural gas probably. I'll heat my coffee up.
Lagarde says if we grow productivity through AI, that will impact
Okay, our
natural
orders are
rate
going
of
to show up
interest.
shortly. We'll see if our VWAP test is going to work. I still think it's an interesting idea. It doesn't mean it's going to work, but I like the idea still.
10 seconds.
Don't forget, you're going to have to move your target up if it gets filled.
Order submitted.
Here's our NQ.
Order submitted.
Fills down,
Order
Market on open
submitted.
imbalance.
delayed.
S&P 500 buy side 166 million.
Order filled.
Nasdaq 100 sell side
Order
5.8 million.
filled.
Dow 30 buy side 26.5
My
million.
YM,
And maximum sell side 8.5
what
million.
the heck? I have to watch the video and see what happened. Let me put that magnet back on. I want to test still. We got target 1 on our MNQ.
Lagarde says we didn't debate
It
neutral
reversed
rate.
and hit our stop. So it's a winner again, target 1 winner. So I'm going to start putting 5 contracts on my target 1 on the MNQ. My YM,
Seeing US stocks extend gains. S&P 500 up 1%.
I don't want to be filled long.
Also,
I want to be filled
Nasdaq
at the
up
VWAP.
1.44%.
I have to watch the video and see what happened. Whatever happened, it filled me long. Why is that moving? Why is that moving? That's interesting. Why is that order moving? I'm glad I have this recorded. Something that should not be doing that. But I'm not doing this the right way. I have to tell you very honestly. The right way to do this with the new software is to target the level, not to do it the way I'm
Microtechnology
doing it.
shares
So
up, jumping 14%
the
after the
magnet to
company
the
forecast
upside
Q2 adjusted profit
for
above
the
estimates.
open obviously
So shares of
was
storage chipmakers
fabulous.
gain
It was
after
great.
Microtechnology's
That was
upbeat
great.
profit forecast.
All right. That was great. It's not going to the VWAP, friends. So right now I'm turning off my magnet. It's not going to the VWAP. But that's the beauty of being wrong when you're trading a magnet. You just don't get filled if you're wrong. So it's not like I chose the wrong instrument and got stopped. I just don't have a trade. It could still do it. It could still do it. It's possible. How many ticks away from it is it? 613. It's a lot. It's really too far. It's like over 200 ticks away. It's not going. It's not going to go there probably. It's too far. MNQ is getting ready to give a short signal, but you don't know how long that signal is going to be for. And the MNQ is extremely bullish, and they're talking on the news that they love the news, right? So I'm not dying to take a short on the MNQ. The market's too bullish. It might work. You got a signal right now, but it is very bullish, so it might not be long-lived
Connection
on the
lost.
short side. You know, you do have to make,
Voice news
you try to
disconnected.
make smart decisions. Even though it's working, It wasn't the smartest decision to take a short. What I like about it though, just it still is an ARS signal. It's a correct ARS signal, but it does have a major elephant in the room against taking the trade. The trade is lower probability because of the net change display being so bullish. It still worked, but we know that things still work even when signals aren't perfect. But if you want to increase your probabilities, then you do the trade when everything lines up. Or you take the risk. You bite the bullet and accept the risk. The risk is above the stop, the high of the day. It worked. It worked. It actually worked fabulously. It's fantastic. Um, um, I'm going to do everything I think I shouldn't do for the rest of the day. Everything I think I should not do, I'm doing. Did you ever do that on a whole day? Just if you thought the market was long, take the short. 221 tick reversal. 221 tick reversal. So much for signals. But how powerful is the net change display compared to the aftershock reversal signal? I'll take an aftershock reversal signal anytime over the net change display. The net change display is just a small influence. I wouldn't say small, it's an important influence. But the ARS, maybe we should just call this a pain in the arse trade instead of the aftershock reversal. It's the pain in the arse trade. Anyway, it was a great signal. It was a great signal. YM still not to the VWAP. Still not to the VWAP. The right way to do it in the new version is you have to target the VWAP. And there's a custom level, target the VWAP. That's the proper way to do it. I hope. I have to do some testing. So if I'm going to target the VWAP, right, I have to put my order in. Still have to move my order. And we are working still on info in the box. So in theory, all right, and I'm going to put this on MYM because I don't want to spend a lot of money testing something. In fact, we can test it in SIM. So if I'm targeting the VWAP, my order is above the PP, right? And if I turn it on auto, it should fill me roughly at 48.15ish. It looks like if the market goes down, and then the target is somewhere 380, 392 is my exit, 392. What did I say we were going to do? We were going to look at, what did I just say we were going to look at before natural gas? Does anyone remember what I say we're going to look at? Let me say goodbye to everyone on YouTube. Thank you for watching. We kept the stream running for quite a long time this morning. You could watch all my decisions this morning. Did not make the best decisions, particularly oil. I mean, CPI, we just didn't test RTY the way we should have. I think we just missed RTY on CPI. So that won't happen again. It happens. MNQ heading down. It sold off quite a bit from the high and gave a great signal. So thanks everyone on YouTube. We'll be streaming again tomorrow, the market open. So hit the like button and the notification bell so you get these notices. And come to our class. I posted the class. See you all later.